With C, just off the top of my head. Where are C people? All right, nice. Why don't one of you C folks give me a claim? Don't all jump on the keyboard at once, you might break it. All right, there you go. This claim will be, let me say this again. This claim will be the first sentence of your short essay. I don't need any introduction, as I've stated in the essay assignment sheet. I don't need any preamble. I don't need background. I need this as the first sentence. In a separate piece, John Knowles uses trees and the woods to represent the war and danger. Close. I would give this 2 out of 2. Okay, on grading, I'm looking for basic format. However, let's always try to reach a little bit higher. Let's fine-tune it just a little bit. I think we have too many ands. You got this and this to represent this and this. So here's what happens with the this and this. You got A and B representing X and Y. Does A represent Y and B represent X? Does A represent that and this? Now the relationships are crazy because you've got 2 and 2. Do you see that mathematically, kind of? So let's take out one of those ands. What do you want to do? Good. Uses the woods to represent the war and danger, or how about of the war? So this group gives me a basically well-formatted literary analysis claim. Title, author, device, effect. I fine-tune a little bit. It's a bit clearer. Uses the woods to represent the danger of war. That's all you need to do. What quotations do you have? Yeah, go ahead. Good. The moment with leper looking at them, you think there's a path through those woods. Excellent. What's your next one? Is that around the snowball fight time? That he talks about how they never end? Yes. Good. The benefit of this quotation selection is the distance between the two quotations. I want everybody to pay attention to this. If your quotations are on the same page or one page separated, that's not really doing a good job of covering a trend. These essays are supposed to cover trends of development throughout the entire novel. QARs are supposed to focus on one moment. Essays are supposed to focus on the entire novel. If you're picking a quotation from chapter 7 and then one from chapter 11, as I believe these are, then you're doing a good job. If you were developing a full essay with multiple examples, you could get something probably, I think, from chapter, I don't know, 2 or 3, and then chapter 7, and then chapter 11, and really cast your net wide. Yeah. All right, let's see, that was C. Let's go with B. Where's B? All right. Please notice what Aaron is doing already. Italicizing the title. I think we had enough horror, disappointment, and anguish over the current events reports and the formatting of titles. So let that pain change your behavior when it comes to formatting titles. Make sure you're using italics on the novel. I don't think you really need anything more advanced than that. What's the device? Finney. What's he using Finney to do? To represent childhood. Now, Todd has asked about using the word allegorical or allegory. Could you add that in there? Sure, you could. What's the definition of allegory? What's the definition? Lexi? Good. So when characters represent ideas such as elements of human nature. Is that already here? Does this sentence already speak allegory? Then it's unnecessary to say allegory. Does this already say symbol? Yes, then it's unnecessary to say symbol. Could you say uses the woods to symbolically represent the danger of war? You could, but it would be redundant. Or to symbolize, yeah, you could. Knowles uses Finney to allegorically represent childhood. You could do that, but it's unnecessarily redundant.
Do you get points out of it?
No. You wouldn't lose points unless you added something. If you added like a third element. We have 4 elements, right? If you added a third element in there some strange way, then yes, you'd lose points. John Knowles uses Finney to represent childhood, to symbolize childhood. I would not use symbol because it's not a symbol. Uses Finney to represent childhood, uses Finney to allegorically represent childhood, uses Finney to explore childhood. Any of those would work fine. Express is a little bit too simple. To represent means to hold up a picture of something for examination. To explore means to talk about different aspects of something. To express is merely to present one coherent and usually short thought. So I would avoid express. What are your quotations? Excellent. Lack of understanding of competition, so snowball fight. Never hated anything. Good. So if you have a quotation where it talks about him not hating anything? Cool. Sounds good to me. Now, you, and are you guys doing adulthood? Yeah. Gene? Both you groups need to say something like this. Children generally act in this way. Finney does this when he does this. Quotation support, integration, you're done. Adults often act in this way. What is it? They often act cautiously. They often doubt. They often express anxiety. They often prioritize work over play. I don't know, wherever you're going with it. But state adults often do this. Children often do this. Finney does this on a regular basis. Gene does this on a regular basis. When would it be really strong? Adults usually do this. Gene does this here. How would I strengthen that? Quotation would work nicely. 2 examples work really well. Gene prioritizes work over play. Can you tell me one time where he does that? Studying the French right before the tree incident. That's one time. Can anybody tell me another time when he prioritizes work over play? Samuel? Yep, that's the time with the French thing, right before the tree. You're right.
When they go to the beach, he can't really focus on how he's done. He's thinking about how
Oh, good. So you'd say he does go to the beach, but he tears himself up inside because of his need to be responsible. Good. 2 examples. 2 examples really strengthen. 1, not quite so strong. 2 examples strengthen quite well. Group A, are you basically just doing this except Gene represents adulthood? Okay. Do you have some quotations?
I found one. On page 201, when he's talking about the war.
Uh-huh.
Because it seemed clear that wars were not made by generations and their special stupidities, but that wars were made instead by something ignorant and ignorant.
So are you showing that that is mature insight?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So adults act with mature insight. They don't act irrationally. They weigh options, and he does this.
It's pretty much him growing up and getting his own opinion on the war.
Good. Do you have another quotation? Corinne, tell me about it. Maybe I'll help you find it. Oh, okay. 30 something? Yeah, 35. 35 is your quotation. Finney never permitted himself to realize that when you won, they lost. That would have destroyed the perfect beauty that was sport, and so on. So his understanding of competition is adult. Very good. D. Symbol analysis of the rivers. Where's my D group? Right here. Okay. I love that you guys understand how to italicize without using a mouse. Previous years, all of my students seem to think that that's magic. Here, just to be consistent, Control I. Yeah, let's try it again. There you go. Okay. In a separate piece, John Knowles uses two rivers to symbolize the change from peace to war. I like it. One question that I would ask: do we need to include the names Devon and Neguamset in the claim sentence? Probably no. I'll say no. Can somebody tell me why? Well, they're important, but the names don't add to the claim. So I have mentioned two rivers. I intend to add detail to the claim, right? You will always add detail. You will always expand on the claim. But I've already established that there are two rivers, so I don't need their names because I can give their names later. And chances are good that this group will say, first, he demonstrates the Devon, so on and so forth, quotation support, then the Neguamset, so on and so forth, quotation support. The change from peace to war, I'm glad that this group hit on the word change because I think that's essential, that he uses the Devon to show the differences between these two settings and most primarily the change from one to the next. I would drop symbolize. I don't think we need something that powerful. The change has happened in a number of different ways. He's using those rivers sort of for added emphasis. They're not quite as important as the woods, but they're useful. What are your quotations?
From the Devon, it was nothing like the freshwater Devon above the dam where we had so much fun all the summer.
Good. And?
And the Neguamset, it was very ugly, sandy, fringed with marsh, mud.
Now, those are two excellent quotations. However, they come from the same page, if I remember correctly. So can we find something that gives aha, page 86. Find page 86 and read to me what I'm looking at.
I had taken a shower to wash off the sticky salt in the Neguamset River. Going to the Devon was like taking a refreshing shower itself. You never had to clean up after it. The Neguamset was something else entirely.
Very good. There you go. So we've got the muckiness in the Neguamset on page 86. And now we're doing what I've suggested earlier, which is drawing quotations from separate parts of the novel. E. Yes. Yes. That's it. Fight the power. So please make sure to spell peace correctly, because P-I-E. That's all right. That one, of course, word spell check will not pick up, so you might want to double check. My favorite misspelling was somebody's website about a separate piece where they misspelled it was a separate peach. So I believe if you Google that, you'll find a website that talks about a separate peach. In a separate piece, John Knowles uses the thought of war to show the theme of evolving. I like your effect, to show the theme of evolving. I'd like the verb a little bit differently. What verb would I like instead of show? Portray is synonymous. Develop is a little bit better. The device must be a specific literary device. Character, setting, plot, similes, metaphors, imagery, what have you. Narrative perspective must be a specific literary device. Thought of war does not speak to me of a specific literary device, so we'll need something else. Talk to me a little bit about where you were going with this. What were you thinking about in terms of your development? Okay. Add a little bit to that, Amma. Well, tell me what quotations maybe you were intending to use as support. Okay, about the snowball fight. What about leper? Okay, that's a quotation that shows the theme, certainly. So, are you talking about so different boys' encounters with the war? Is that where you're thinking of? And then now you have plot events. You have multiple plot events that share something in common. All these different boys are encountering the war in different ways. So John Knowles uses several boys encounters with war to develop the theme of evolving, or let's use the noun, evolution. Okay? You had the right idea. I just wanted to, encounters speaks to me of plot events. Thought does not. And now you've got it. And you got the snowball fight. What else do you have as support? Gene actually surviving through the war, and you can even find a quotation for that. Him saying, you know, I never shot a person or fired a shot in anger or something. I can't remember what the direct quotation is. Never killed anyone, I think he says. Leper going insane. You got multiple examples. Plenty of material to fill those spaces. Do you have to say something about war? You do if your claim states you will.
So then I could just like say something about like how he develops or just use like encounter and will it list all the characters?
Do you want to focus on just one character?
Well, not really.
You could. It's only 300 words minimum. So you could specify it in a separate, see, you've chosen this, which means that you have chosen to expand throughout the novel several different boys. You could choose, and there's nothing in the assignment stopping you, in a separate piece, John Knowles uses leper's experience to develop the theme of evolution. And you have several moments. His moment on the hill, his moment of going insane, his moment watching that skiing film. So you're only focusing on leper. You don't have to talk about Gene, you don't have to talk about Finney. Absolutely.
For like ours, the childhood and the adulthood, could we like put some of that and like say like
Contrast with the other.
yeah, like Finney's childhood, no like with this, like say like with Finney's childhood, he would perish in war because of his child like.
So do you want to bring that up to the evolution theme? Careful about how much complexity you add to it. This essay is supposed to be simple. So just prove to me that he demonstrates childhood, and that's by saying children act like this, Finney does it on several occasions. Children act like this, Finney does it on several occasions.
Say like adults would normally like who would contrast the other and say like.
You can, but once again, you're adding complexity there. There's nothing requiring you to do that. Nothing in your claim requiring you to do that. Any last questions? Yep, you could contrast them. In a separate piece, John Knowles contrasts Jean's and Finney's experiences to develop the theme of evolution. Now it's no longer uses, now it's contrasts. Okay. Further questions? All right, good enough. Rough draft is due on Friday.